In Colombia, protests have surfaced since the beginning of May. Where police have been given a green light to attack its own citizens.
The demonstrations began over an unpopular pandemic-related tax overhaul and have escalated over charges of excessive force used by police against the protesters.
Making their voices heard. This march against poverty and inequality has a morbid theme. Civilian deaths at the hands of police, driving protesters to take to the streets in their thousands.
Toda Colombia le está diciendo que abra el diálogo, porque lo que necesitamos con nuestros dirigentes es diálogo, y no lo ha hecho. Entonces, ¿cuántas muertes necesita? Porque no vamos a parar.
Señor Duque, vea cuántos somos, vea cuántos estudiantes están dando la cara, cuántas personas pobres están buscando su pan de comer. El paro no para hasta que usted cambie la reforma y que nos dé más salidas al pueblo.
While police continued their assaults on the people of Colombia with impunity, the protests also affected a branch of society that many, including the right wing, say should not be politicized: sports. In the Copa Libertadores group stage, players from Colombia's América de Cali and Brazil's Atlético Mineiro could barely play because of the tear gas. The First Post reported the match was halted 8 times as sirens and explosions echoed outside Romelio Martinez Stadium in Barranquilla.
Pior coisa da minha vida. Particularmente nunca tinha passado por isso. Não tinha condições.
In the same competition one day prior, Colombian side Atletico Junior and Argentina club River Plate, tear gas affected the players as well. The match had to be halted, but the referees insisted it go on to complete the full 90 minutes. Another match in Pereira between Atlético Nacional and Nacional of Uruguay was delayed because of the protests. The protests are fairly simple and reflect what many of us dissented against here in the United States. Colombia's President Ivan Duque, seen here romanticizing about hurting more protesters, is under fire, and for good reason. Not just because of his alleged corruption, where an investigation was open based on the evidence the far-right party conspired with a drug trafficking organization to rig the election and claims they illegally received funding from a Venezuelan oil tycoon, nor because, as newspaper El Espectador describes him, Duque and his predecessor Uribe are a couple of crazy people on the loose who act against common sense and set the country on fire. While millions of people remain unemployed through the effects of the coronavirus and even more of the country's civilians are in poverty, the mindless decision he made sparked the wave of protest. Duque's plan was simple: raise taxes even if people can't afford it, because the country's broke as hell and we're a far-right party, damn it. You think we care about y'all? The people of Colombia were furious with this decision. How do you pay more in taxes when you have no job? We're here to say no to the tax reforms, Sol Martinez, a teacher, told Al Jazeera during a protest in the capital, Bogota, on Wednesday. They're robbing us poor people while they give everything to the rich. Does this ring a bell, my fellow Americans? Even after repeal, the protests have grown over time to include calls for the government to guarantee a minimum income, to prevent police violence, and to withdraw a health reform plan that critics say does not do enough to fix systemic problems. Police brutality in Colombia has remained dire under Duque's watch. Killing civilians, excessive use of force, sexual abuse, and the use of firearms, both during current protests and previous ones, have been linked to Colombian police. I mean, just check out this opening paragraph from the New York Times, okay? A teenager shot to death after kicking a police officer. A young man bleeding out on the street as protesters shout for help. Police officers firing on unarmed demonstrators. Helicopters swarming overhead. Tanks rolling through neighborhoods. Explosions echoing in the streets. A mother crying for her son. As of last week, Colombia's Human Rights Ombudsman reported the death toll to be at 42, though it continually rises. 168 people have gone missing. Meanwhile, Duque still insists Colombia will remain co-hosts of the Copa America tournament with Argentina. The worst of the violence has occurred in the city of Cali, which is set to host 3 Copa America group matches and a quarterfinal at the Estadio Pascual Guerrero. After more than a year of living under COVID-19 restrictions, Colombians no longer see football as the wholesome distraction that it was over the summer when leagues around the world first returned to play behind closed doors. The agony of the pandemic has not subsided, and most Colombians are troubled by the country's uncertain political future. Just a few weeks away from the start of the tournament, how this plays out is far from certain as political, economic, and sporting interests coexist in dire conflict with each other.